Hey, how you doing? So, we're going to be doing writing linear equations given two parts. Writing linear equations given two parts. So I'm going to be given 2 points, x sub 1 and y sub 1, and x sub 2 and y sub 2. 2 points on a line, and I want to end up with a point slope, I keep doing that, the slope-intercept formula. So we're first going to use the slope formula. M equals change in y, the vertical change, divided by the horizontal change, the change in x. And then we're going to use the point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals, too quick, x minus x sub 1. So in that box that says slope formula, put down this slope formula. In the box that says point slope formula, put down the point slope formula. We're going to use these one after another. Nothing is different here except that we just need to put all the steps that we've already done together. We've already figured out how to get a slope from 2 points. We've already figured out how to get a formula when we're given a slope and a point. So now we're just going to do it together one after another. So I'm going to start with number 1 here. Negative 3, comma 7. And 1, comma negative 1. All right, so I've got to find the slope first. Here's my slope formula. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. The change in y, the vertical change, divided over the change in x, the horizontal change. So now, I'm going to substitute my values in. I've got x sub 1 here, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. And I'm going to put these into this equation. So my y2 is negative 1. My y1 is positive 7. My x sub 2 is positive 1. And then my x sub 1 is negative 3. Notice also, the points are vertically aligned. The points are vertically aligned in the slope formula, right? I've got 1 and negative 1. They're stuck over top one another. I've got negative 3 and 7 here in this point. They're over top one another. So be sure to watch that. Now I'm just going to do the math and simplify. So negative 1 minus 7 is negative 8. And 1 minus negative 3 is actually the same thing as 1 plus 3, because subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding. So I end up with 4. Slope always has to be in simplest form. 4 and negative 8 are both divisible by 4. So my slope is 2. My slope is 2. Now I'm not done because I got to get it into the y equals mx plus b form. Right? Got to get it into the y equals mx plus b form. So now I'm going to use the point slope formula. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. So I already have x1, y1, and a slope. So now I'm going to do what I did in the last video and rewrite this, putting in these values I already have. So y minus y sub 1, I look back up here, y sub 1 is 7. M, I just figured that out, that's negative 2. That's why we have to do the slope first. X is the variable. And then x sub 1, that is negative 3. X sub 1 is negative 3. Oops. I need 2 parentheses so my notes will compile. I'm going to distribute the negative 2. This is positive 3, so multiplied by negative 2 becomes negative 6. I just skipped a couple steps there. Feel free to take the optional ones to work that out. And then I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Not minus 12, add 2. When I do that, those cancel, and I'm left with y equals minus 2x. Negative 6 plus 2. And there it is. So, starting with just 2 points, negative 3 comma 7 and 1 comma negative 1, I was able to use the slope formula to work out the slope. and then the point slope formula with the slope and one of the points to work out that the equation of the line is y equals negative 2x minus 4. Let's look at one more example, and then I'll send you off to your practice. So let's just go on to number 2. So number 2, negative 6 comma negative 7 and 3 comma negative 4. So here's my x sub 1 and my y sub 1. Here's my x sub 2 and my y sub 2. So using these 4 points, these 4 values, I'm going to work out the slope and then the equation of the line. So I start with the slope formula. Change in y over the change in x. Change in y over the change in x. Then I'm going to rewrite it, but put the values in. So y2 here is negative 4. y1 is negative 7. X sub 2 is 3. X sub 1 is negative 6. So subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding. So this is negative 4 plus 7 over 3 plus 6. When I do that, I end up with positive 3 over 9. 3 and 9 are both divisible by 3, so I'm going to reduce the slope down to 1/3. So here's my slope, 1/3. There's my slope. Halfway home. Now I've got the slope and I've got a point, so I'm going to use the point slope formula to get me to the slope intercept form. So y sub 1 equals m x minus x sub 1. That's the point slope formula. Now, I'm going to use these values that I've got. I've got a slope. There's my m. I've got an x1 and a y1. That's right there. So I'm going to rewrite the equation and substitute the values in. So y minus y sub 1 is y minus negative 7. My slope I just worked out is 1/3. X, there's my variable. X minus x sub 1 is negative 6. Now all I need to do here is simplify and get this y isolated. So I'm going to rewrite this by simplifying the subtraction of negatives first. This is an optional step. I'm going to take it this time. Don't have to, but I am going to do it here. Now I'm going to distribute. So y plus 7 equals 1/3 x plus 2. 1/3 times 6 is 2. If you don't know, feel free to put that into a calculator. And then I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Right? Going to subtract 7 from both sides. So the 7's cancel out, and I get y equals 1/3 x minus 5. Y equals 1/3 x minus 5. So starting in number 2 with negative 6, negative 7 as the first point, and 3, negative 4 as the second point, I was able to use the slope formula to work out that the slope is 1/3. And having done that, I used the point slope formula to work out that the equation of the line is y equals 1/3 x minus 5. You got a lot of practice ahead of you. Go ahead and work on it. Good luck.